The One-Night Stand Killer by the Prowler. I can't get my mind off work even now. This case is eating me alive, consuming my every thought. Even here, off the clock trying to relax, at the restaurant, I'm haunted by it on the TV screens overhead. The One-Night Stand Killer, the news people are calling it, or her, to be more specific. Yes, while it is rare for a woman to be a serial killer, it does happen from time to time. They're out there, and this is one of those times. As I wait for my food to be brought out, I might as well go over the details a bit more in my head. Maybe there's a detail I've missed, that we've all missed. Generally, there's not much known about this woman, except for her brunette hair and her height, which witnesses report to be 5'10". She has claimed 5 victims so far, and counting. Also, she likes to taunt the police by sending letters bragging about her kills and future endeavors. She lures men in restaurants, gets a few drinks in them, then takes them back to her place. Then proceeds to torture them, and then cuts off the parts that make him useful to a woman. She then moves the body off-site and leaves the corpse strewn somewhere public, a park or a parking lot, a residential street sidewalk, etc. Ah, good. The food has arrived. She really is clever, I must say. No loose ends. None I can think of anyway. I really don't know how she's going to be caught. My God, I'm trying to concentrate and think about this case, but all I can hear is this prick's voice trying to speak to me. It's disrupting my train of thought. Yes, sir. Can I help you? Are you trying to speak to me? Well, yes. Yes, I am. I was just saying I noticed you across the room, sitting here by yourself, having your dinner, and I was stricken by how beautiful you are. Well, thank you. That was very kind of you to say. Yes, I'm eating alone, thinking about problems at work. But please, won't you sit down and join me? I could use the distraction. What's your name? John, you say? I'm sorry, it's a little noisy in here. How about we have a few drinks? Then maybe, if things go well, we can go back to my place. After an hour of having to sit through the dullest of conversations with old John here, I am on my way back home, with John, of course, next to me in the passenger seat. Hold that thought. What's that? John, honey, you're breaking my concentration. You've had a few drinks. You're going to have to speak up. Well, thank you for the compliment about my long, dark, beautiful hair. It takes a lot of work to maintain it and keep it healthy. And what else? What was that, John? Yes, I am tall. Yes, very tall for a woman. I am 5'10" to be exact. He finally shut up for 2 minutes. Now I can think about what I'm going to do. Well, on second thought, I guess there's not much to plan, really. Just do what you always do. John, wake up. We're back at my place. I want to show you what I do. No, you don't have to apologize for not asking me my name and what I do for work. First, my name is Julie. It's a pleasure to meet you. Secondly, I'm a police officer, so you can feel safe with me. But that's not what I wanted to show you. No, John, I'm more interested in showing you my hobby. My Night Out by Bobby Dangerously. I feel very lonely tonight. It's hard living in this big town of Lakeview City. I decided to head to Rocco's bar. Maybe I can meet someone. Maybe even have some fun, if you know what I mean. I enter the bar, and as I walk in, I notice right away a very beautiful red-headed woman. She's wearing a black tight dress, and her long legs are catching my eye. Wow, she is very attractive. I look at her ruby red lips, and I also notice her very piercing, beautiful eyes. I feel a strong pull to go up to her. I'm usually very shy, but for some reason, I have all the courage in the world to go up to her. I normally don't do this, but I feel very confident right now. She stood up and shook my hand. Her hand felt so good, very smooth, soft. She leaned over and gave me a hug, too. That turned me on. She smelled so wonderful, like some beautiful field of flowers. I fell for her that moment as she held me tight with her hug. We walked and laughed for a few minutes. I was intoxicated by her, and I just thought, I didn't even order a drink. She asked if I would like to go for a walk. She said she was tired of being in the bar and wanted to get out for a little bit. I agreed. Why not? We took a long stroll through the streets, talking and laughing. She even put her arm around my waist and leaned her head on my shoulder. This feels so good. I definitely don't feel lonely at the moment, that's for sure. She said she will give me a night of love and romance. I am now getting excited. I can't believe I met this beautiful woman tonight. We ended up at a park that is connected to the forest preserve. The moon was high and the park was silent. What a great night to be out. She started to hold my hand tightly. She then spun in front of me quickly. The movement took me by surprise, as it was really fast, almost inhuman. We started kissing passionately. It felt so good. We stopped kissing, and then she looked into my eyes. At that moment, her face changed from very beautiful to hideously frightening. I started to scream a little as I saw two sharp fang-like teeth in her open mouth. She looked animalistic. My heart started to beat really fast as I am completely frightened. She then quickly leans in and bites my neck. I feel so faint and losing consciousness. I feel my body drop to the ground. I have enough strength to open my eyes. I see her standing above me. She bends down and whispers in my ear and asks me if I want to live. I told her no. She shrugged and then vanished. I'm able to turn over on my stomach and I start to crawl. I have very little energy left. I feel that creature drained me of my lifeblood. I move very slowly. I pass out for a few seconds, it seems, but as I come to, I open my eyes and see people walking my way. Thank goodness. I can be saved. A One-Night Stand by ChordStrike. Is your place close by? The dim bar lighting did nothing to detract from her beauty or her coy, alluring smile. Why? Did you want to stop by for a chat? I kept flirting with her, like I'd been doing the whole night, and her hand squeezing my thigh under the table was enough of an answer for me. Neither of us were too drunk to walk back, and soon enough we were alone in my house. I knew I'd never call her again after that night. Thought I'd probably keep her here for longer than she thought. But who says you have to instantly throw out a one-night stand? A sudden crash from across the room sounded too loud in the quiet house. We paused in the middle of removing clothing and laughed together, shaking our heads. "I thought you said you didn't have a pet." I shrugged. "I don't. Anyway, we should at least head to my bedroom, right?" I prompted, leading her away from the front door, ignoring the shards of God knows what that I'd have to clean up tomorrow morning. "Oh, hang on. Let me use your bathroom real quick." I pointed it out and walked further down the hall to my bedroom to wait for her, preparing my signature tools of the trade. When the bathroom door finally creaked open again, I wondered why her footsteps sounded like they were heading away from me instead of closer to me. Poking my head out of the doorway, I flicked the light on to reveal her tiptoeing away, back to the front door. "Hey, where are you going?" My playful pout turned into a confused frown as she avoided my eyes. I think I'm gonna head home, actually. I have an early day tomorrow." Another sudden crash made her shriek a little. So, bye." She ran out the door before I could say another word. Letting out a flurry of curses, I went to the kitchen to inspect the damage. The crashing sounds were two of my ceramic mugs, broken into pieces too tiny to glue back together. Damn it! I like those too. "Why won't you leave me alone?" I pleaded with empty air, shuddering as a ghostly hand touched the back of my neck. Icy cold fingertips brushing my skin. Flinching away, I lamented all the preparation I'd done that was now for nothing. Back in the hallway, when I tried to check the bathroom, I noticed small letters in the corner of the mirror, dissipating. All I caught was "run." One night stand, author unknown. I awoke to a pair of arms wrapped around me, one across my chest, the other stroking my thigh. I almost panicked until I remembered the night before. Girls' night out, bar crawling, the tall, broad-shouldered stranger dancing with another girl under neon lights. The same stranger I went home with. I had been alone for so long that I had forgotten what this felt like, to feel safe in the arms of a man. This was definitely a first for me. I don't usually kiss on a first date, let alone sleep with random men I just met. But there was something about him. He reminded me so much of Johnny. Johnny was my ex. Brown eyes, black hair, and a smile to die for. We were only together a short while before he cheated on me. He accused me of stalking him when I questioned him about the ditzy blonde I saw him with. I remember that conversation clear as day. "Stop following me, Lucy. We're not together. We've never been together." "There you go again with your lies. We've been together for months, Johnny. Just tell me who she was." "What the hell are you talking about? We were friends, and we had one drunken kiss. That doesn't make you my girlfriend. Stop following me. I know it's you who's been slashing my tires. You think it's funny calling me while I'm at work, screaming and laughing through the phone? You think it's funny leaving dead fucking mice at my front door? You're really messed up. If you come near me or my property again, I will call the police. Now leave me the hell alone." That psycho, denying his love for me. No matter, I have my new boyfriend now. He won't leave me, not after the love we shared last night. He turned me around to face him. "Let's watch some TV, babe." I knew it. He doesn't want me to leave. We're in love. He switched it on from the remote he kept on his bedside table. The news came on. It looked a little old, At least the quality wasn't at the standard it is now. The newscaster started speaking. "I'm Sandra Berry with your 6 o'clock news. Police are still searching for the man who tortured and killed at least 8 women. He is thought to target bars after midnight. Police are warning women to stay safe and not travel alone at night. On screen is the CCTV image of the man outside the club he picked up one victim from." He paused on the face. In the top left corner of the TV, the words appeared. DVD paused. This wasn't playing live. This was recorded. It was a grainy image. It almost looked like Johnny, except it looked a lot more like a younger version of the man I was in bed with. The man that was now staring at me. A wide grin on his face. One Night Stand by A.O. 1980s. David couldn't believe his luck. He had gone out for a few after-work drinks, and now here he was standing in this beautiful girl's lounge, checking his breath. "Are you hungry?" she asked from the kitchen. "Sure," replied David, loosening his tie and checking his wallet for a condom. "Good," came her sweet voice. "Because I'm ravenous," she announced, stepping into the room, her teeth growing longer. "I haven't eaten all day." She laughed, her voice turning into a growl. David stared in fright as the girl's skin stretched and contorted into the face of a wolf. He ran for the door, but the girl leapt across the room and blocked his way. "Leaving so soon?" She smiled, her yellow eyes fixed on him. David yelled for help as she slashed him across his shirt. "What's wrong, David? I thought you liked it rough." She added with a grinning snarl. "Holy fuck!" David whimpered as he clutched his chest and stumbled backwards, staring at her. "Don't you want me anymore?" asked the girl, stepping forwards, rubbing her hands through her fur. "I want you." She grinned, swiping her claw at him. "All of you," she added, licking her lips. She pounced at David, knocking him to the floor. "Is this not what you want?" the girl asked, climbing on top of him as he tried to crawl away. "Please, no!" David begged. The girl howled and sunk her teeth into David's chest. David gasped in shock as he felt her rip through his skin. He watched in horror as the girl's head came back up, with flesh hanging from her mouth. She dived back down for a second bite. David could feel her face rooting around inside him. He cried for mercy, but the girl was now in a frenzy, biting and pulling at his insides, gorging herself on his blood. The girl looked down at David's lifeless body. "Looks like the guy finished first. Again." She laughed, tearing off more skin and dragging the body back to the kitchen. A girl tried to seduce me at a college bar so she could rob me. Deleted author. So I'm currently a sophomore in college, and the bar scene here is pretty big. Going out for the night to get special deals on alcohol so you can get plastered with your friends is kind of the go-to here. Despite this, I'm not a huge drinker and don't enjoy it a lot because it tastes so bad and hurts my stomach. I do enjoy the company, though, and often go just to be out with my friends or meet new people. A lot of times I'm called the dad of the group because I end up taking care of them all the time. That's the prelude to what happened when I decided to go with them one Friday night. So we got all dressed up, pre-gaming a bit at my friend Q's apartment before we Ubered downtown to one of our pretty well-known college bars. After we got in, my friends immediately split off into tiny groups, combing over the club for girls they wanted to try their shot at spending the night with. This is going to make me sound weird, but one-night stands aren't really my thing, and I don't want to end up cock-blocking my friends. So instead of looking for girls, I usually find someone at the bar and make friends with them. I was chatting with some dude that was wearing a cowboy hat when eventually a girl approached me. She was pretty cute, probably 5'6", with dirty blonde hair and eyes that I think were light brown, but they were so light they almost looked gold, which threw me off a bit. She asked if she could buy me some drinks in exchange for being her friend for the night, and of course I accepted, because hey, that's what I came here for anyway, right? Anyways, she kept her word and we started talking to each other, and she introduced herself as Alexa, but to call her Alex. I asked her some basic stuff about if she came with friends, if she went to college here, etc., to which all the answers were no. That struck me as pretty odd, as it's honestly pretty unsafe to be in the downtown area alone, as a girl, at like 1 a.m. in the morning. She said she wanted to hear about me, though, and actually seemed pretty excited to listen. It felt like a really nice change of pace, because I'm usually the one learning about other people, not the other way around. It also could have been the alcohol starting to take effect, since I'm actually a pretty big lightweight, as like I said, I don't actually binge drink often. The whole time I was talking, she stared into my eyes and had this warm smile that made me feel so acknowledged, if that even makes sense. I felt like she was enjoying her time as much as I was, and that just made me even happier because I thought it meant I made a new friend. That was when her demeanor began to change, though. She started to get kind of flirty and eventually asked if I wanted to go home with her. Like I said, I'm not really a one-night stand guy, and I explained I like to get to know people a little better before sleeping together. I'm pretty sure I saw what I think was anger flash across her face, but it was quickly replaced with another smile, and she suggested just going home and watching a movie instead. I agreed and pulled out my phone to begin ordering an Uber, but she basically grabbed my wrist and started guiding me outside. I was confused, trying to ask if she was planning to drive after drinking, but she wouldn't really answer me. We eventually got outside the club, and she pointed to a black Honda Civic parked right out at the front of the club. That was when all the warning bells rang like a tornado had passed through them. I was pretty drunk at this point in the night, maybe 6 or 7 drinks deep, but I was still aware enough to see the red flags. She said she had came alone, but the lane the car was parked in was only for pickups, and I never saw her order an Uber. Somebody would have had to be driving the car. This was enough to make me uncomfortable, and I asked again if she was planning to drive the car. She said yes, as she continued walking me closer to it. I knew that was a bald-faced lie, and as we got closer my heart sank as I noticed the outline of 3 other guys in the car. At that point, my adrenaline kicked in, and I yanked my hand away from her and said, "There's no way in hell I'm getting in that car with you." She tried begging me one more time, saying she really wanted to have sex and would let me do whatever I wanted. But I already had turned around to walk back to the club. She started cussing me out, practically screaming at the top of her lungs as I walked back up to the bouncers to go in. I texted my friends what happened, and we all met back up and went home. It was obvious she was going to college bars, trying to get guys drunk before offering to sleep with them, so she could get them in that car with 3 other men to rob them, or do God knows what else. I called my city's anonymous tip line and left a detailed description of the girl, the car, and the place where it happened. That night was a real wake-up call for me, and I'm so thankful that despite me being drunk that night, I was able to piece together what was happening before it was too late. Please remember to always be safe when going out with friends, especially when it's late at night, or if alcohol is involved. But to Alexa, who I saw that night at the bar, let's not meet again. Am I a magnet for crazies? Author unknown. Earlier tonight I was out with 2 male friends, drinking at the bars on campus. I didn't get too trashed. I wish I had. But we were all buzzed and laughing and having a good time. Usually when we hit the bars, we're pretty much exclusively trying to meet girls. But this time we were just playing darts and drinking by ourselves. However, despite my lack of effort, and much to my surprise, an attractive girl actually approached us halfway through the night. Or I should say, approached me, because she did. She was very clear about her intentions. She didn't seem to have any girlfriends there with her, which really should have given off warning signs. But I wasn't paying attention to that sort of thing. I bought her a drink. We flirted for a bit, and then I called it an early night when she pulled me out by the coat, back to her place. My friends gave me thumbs up, and I haven't talked to them since. It was a short walk. The apartment she took me to was downtown, almost directly on the main street, in fact. I'll have to walk past it almost every day this semester, which I will not enjoy from now on. It was about midnight when we crashed on her couch in the dark. We made out. She got up and brought back more drinks. We continued in the fashion that young, liberated college students do. And by 2 or 3-ish, I'm not really sure, there was no clock, she was passed out. Or so I thought. And I was considering whether or not to slip out before morning. Then she stirred. I almost rolled over to hold her, thinking she was ready for another go, but held still for a moment, letting her take the lead. She must have thought I was asleep. She held her face over mine and whispered, "I hate you." That's so effed up. Seriously? What the hell? I can't stop thinking about it. How she said it. She paused a moment and added, "Wait for me." Then she got out of bed, slipped into her clothes soundlessly, incredibly soundlessly for a girl I thought was wasted, left the apartment and locked the door. I bolted up, put my clothes on, counted to 60, and headed for the door to get the heck out of Dodge. We were in a main room of the apartment. The door to the outside was through a dark room, with a counter, that I assumed was a kitchen when I came in. As I got up, I fumbled around for a light in between these 2 rooms, found one, and flipped it. When the apartment was illuminated, it was clear that there was something seriously wrong going on. Aside from my shoes by the door and the couch in the room behind me, the apartment was entirely empty. By which I mean abandoned, not fit for inhabitation. The kitchen was gutted, piping showing where there should have been an oven or a dishwasher or whatever, and half a counter with smashed porcelain sink bits everywhere. The main room had peeling wallpaper over smashed drywall, and down the darkened hall I could see a room totally closed off by that plastic sheeting builders put up to keep dust and paint fumes from wafting out of unfinished areas. It was clear to me that this girl did not live here. That said, she had either planned for this or brought people here before, because there was a case of beer and the couch in the main room. Needless to say, I left immediately and came home. I don't know at all how to handle this. There was about 2 full minutes between when she left and when I left that apartment. I can't wait for morning so I can tell my friends about this. It's complete insanity. Update. Went down the street to get a pot pie. Came home. Door is unlocked. Roommate's door is open and his light is on. He must have left. The girl has just texted me. I asked you to wait. If I hear a noise in this house, I swear I'll break down. Update 2. Okay. Well, a lot of you guys are eager for me to text Lilith and to give you updates. Okay. Well, I slept for most of the day today. I was tired, hungover, and freaked out. When I awoke, my roommate was back home. Of course he was. No one was in the house yesterday morning. I also had a few more texts from Lilith. I asked you to wait. I asked you to wait. I was having fun with you last night. Why did you leave? Then she texted some random address. Then said, "You're not a good person." It's worth noting that address where she asked me to meet her is not the apartment she took me to last night. It is a building with apartments in it on the same street, however. The text did not include a time to meet her. After all this, there would be absolutely no doubt in my mind that I should not text her back, should not meet her, should not communicate with her in any way. I should just be done. Except for one thing. I think I left my wallet in the unfinished apartment. I bought my pot pie with pocket cash, and now I'm broke, and either she has my cards and ID, or they're still laying on the floor, a 15-minute walk away, in an abandoned apartment. Advice? My friends want to walk over there during the day with me and see if we can find it. I'm not so sure. Okay, guys. Wow. Things have not turned out how I thought they would. I didn't go back to the apartment today. Thought about it, but didn't get a chance. The police called, and then came over to my apartment with my wallet. Around 10-ish. They found it after someone called with a noise complaint at the apartment, smashing noises and a female yelling. When they got there, it was empty except for the couch, my wallet, and further into the apartment, dozens of old needles. The officer was cool. He actually immediately suggested that it might have been stolen, but I ended up telling him everything, including showing the texts, because I'm pretty much completely freaked out, and a cop showing up changes things. After some questions and looking around, he seemed to believe me. The fact that I live in a real apartment, am a student, and really don't look like a junkie, surely contributing to his decision. He told me to just not ever contact her, and to call the police if I felt threatened. I haven't received any additional texts from her, and I hope not to. Looking back on things, I guess she took me where she has sex and does drugs. It's gonna be a while until my next one-night stand. I would like to give a heartfelt thank you to the special friends of the channel for your overwhelming generosity. If you would like to support the channel, The link is below in the description. Also, please send me your stories and poems to duchessofdarkness27@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram at duchess.ofdarkness and Twitter at duchessofdarkn2. I want to thank all my listeners for your kindness, your encouragement, and your support. It means the world to me. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.